AVC John here. Friday afternoon, got the day off, so a different day for me doing videos. There's been a lot of talk about Record Store Day on Facebook in the last week, and I'm not against Record Store Day. I think it's great. There's some great things come out. What I am against is the greed element of it, which encourages people that are nothing to do with the record collecting to go and buy stuff and then try and make ridiculously small amounts of money on eBay. And also those record collectors, and people try to make excuses on Facebook. They've got like 7-8 copies of the same thing, and there's no excuse for it. Record Store Day is supposed to be a fun day for people, to attract people into record shops to buy records for them to listen to themselves. And if you've gone in and bought all around multiple different shops buying the same thing, you're just depriving somebody else of having it. And there is no excuse. And somebody did try and excuse themselves by saying, well, it's only the same as if you go in a charity shop and buy and find, I don't know, the White Album for £1 and then sell it for hundreds of pounds on eBay. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. Record Store Day is supposed to be for record fans like myself and many other people to just go and buy things. And I've actually never been to a Record Store Day, not because I'm against it, it's just I've never actually had the time available on the actual day. So, and I want to show you also that it's not an exclusive thing for that day, because I got one thing that a friend got for me on Record Store Day, which I did show on Facebook, which was this Crocodiles by Echo and the Bunnymen on lovely red vinyl. And that actually did come from those old records in Rugeley. But then on Monday of this week I sent a message to the proprietor Chris and said, have you got any other things left? And he'd got quite a few Orange Juice, he got all the Orange Juice albums left, or at least one copy of each. So I said, well, I'll come over on Friday, because I'd actually already paid him in advance. He is doing a bit of a project, and he's got his own record label, and he's supporting this band called Peter Parker's Rock and Roll Club, and Harry and myself he'd got an official EP release for the day, and Harry and I had reserved it, and I'd actually paid for it in advance, so I was going to go over this morning and collect it anyway. So this is Peter Parker's Rock and Roll Club. We've also bought the album recently, but this is limited edition to 300, all sold through those old records, but it was an official release for the day. But I've got 16 out of 300 there. I also picked one up for Harry, and that's 19 out of 300. And then he said, oh, the Orange Juice albums are over there, so I went to start having a look through, and I did find them. So there it is, Record Store Day, it says there, it's You Can't Hide Your Love Forever. He got all 4, and I was going to buy all 4, but I decided against it then, because I do actually have the original Rip It Up. So this is still sealed, £20, and it's got the MP3 downloads if you want them. And there's the price sticker. He'd not marked them up at all, even though he'd had them left after the day. I got that one, and I picked up that, the Orange Juice, which I believe is the first album. Not really had a chance to look into them, but as I say, there was a copy of Rip It Up, which I've got already, the original, and I decided to leave that because I knew Harry was interested in it, so tipped him off, and he was gonna email Chris. But there were quite a few other things in there, so I started flicking through. And this is, bear in mind that in the past week, all the unscrupulous carpetbaggers have been trying to sell stuff on eBay, and I know that I've seen these for like nearly £40. And I found this, which is the reissue of Psycho Candy by the Jesus and Mary Chain, and this is 253 of 1,000, and it's absolutely beautiful. This it's on splatter vinyl. I'll show you this. Oh, look at that. And this was £20 as well. Now I snapped this up, I couldn't believe it was there still, and I got home and immediately looked on eBay to see what they were going for, and there are people bidding £40 for copies of this. And my message is, do not do that. Do not encourage these greedy carpetbaggers. Do not encourage them to be making a few pounds, because once you can still find these things, and why would you be so desperate for one record? I mean, I love this, it's a great thing to have, but at the end of the day I could have managed without it. and it was great to be able to find it in the shop nearly a week after. And there are quite a few other record store day things. There was an EP by Paul. There were the other 2 Orange Juice albums. There was I can't remember his name now, Stephen whatever, the one with the sort of weird face on the front. That was in there, and the EP that goes with that. So those are my record store day finds, not on record store day. Had a good week really. Got a load of tapes for quite cheap, which I'll show on a different video, along with a new deck that I'm listening to. This is it in the background. It's the Lilac Time. I picked this up in a record store in Bournemouth where I've been working for £1, and this is Waiting for the Sirens Call by New Order. Again, very collectible. So those are my record finds of the week. What I do just want to mention before I go is that Harry and I went to see James, supported by Echo and the Bunnymen, last night in Birmingham. Echo and the Bunnymen were very good. Did a lot of hits like Rescue and what else did they? The Cutter and The Killing Moon and Bring on the Dancing Horses. And if I'd have seen them in a club, I'd have thought, excellent, what an outstanding band. It reminded me very much of seeing Teardrop Explodes in 1981, when the sound of the keyboards is still very, very similar on, say, albums like Crocodiles, which I just showed there, and Kilimanjaro. But nothing could have prepared us for James. Neither of us seen them before, and they're playing Manchester MEN tonight, which is a huge venue. The Academy in Birmingham holds 3,000, but they set it up as if it was going to be just for almost like an indoor arena. The light show and everything was fantastic. The band, the 7-piece band, the violinist, the trumpet player, brilliant. Tim Booth and his weird epileptic dancing. But the interaction between the band and the audience was something that I'm a massive Bruce Springsteen fan, as you know this. I've seen Bruce many times. I've seen him again in a couple of months at Coventry, but we were blown away by James. And to show, they did a storming version of Sit Down. The majority, it was like a best of almost, with a couple of new songs, one which is going to be a single, which sounded quite big songs, if that gives you any idea. I can't remember what they were called. And Tim Booth was even reading off his notes to sing one of them. It was that new. But just to show how different it was, they did a version of Sometimes, which is off Laid, and the majority of the set was based around the album Laid. And that was their final song in the set, and they finished it, and the audience was singing it, and then they all stood up and bowed and went off, and everybody was doing the usual sort of more, chanting and clapping their hands and everything. And then we were stood right next to the mixing desk, and somebody started singing Sometimes again right from the beginning, and the whole audience picked it all up and started singing the song again, and it was absolutely amazing. And halfway through, it's completely a cappella. No, sorry about that, VC, the battery went in my camera. So I was saying, it was a completely a cappella, no band, so the band came back on about the second verse, perhaps halfway through the song, and all lined across the front applauding the audience, and they were videoing, the guitarist had his phone camera on the audience. Then the bass player started up again, and then slowly they all sort of kicked in with the song, and Tim Booth finished it all off. And right at the end of it all, all the band stood and applauded the audience, and he said, "That's never happened to me before," which was completely weird because I just turned to Harry and said, "I've never seen that before." And then they did a couple more songs, finished with Laid, and it was just a fantastic, fantastic concert. And it made me realise that James, whilst I've enjoyed listened to a lot of the albums, encouraged by Brett's enthusiasm, they're a band meant to be seen live with, and I've not experienced a buzz like it really between audience and band for a hell of a long time. Anyway, I've had a great week, hope you're doing the same. Got another couple of weeks working away, then I've got nearly a month off, and then start my new contract in Birmingham, so hopefully a lot more videos to come from me, but take care, have a good weekend. Hopefully I might get another video in before the end of the week, showing the new cassette deck that I've got, which is playing in the background. This is the Lilac Time if anybody's interested. So take care.